السلام عليكم جميعا. Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of PMI Kingdom of Saudi Arabia chapter, I would like to welcome you all to our webinar. We are delighted that many of you were able to join us this afternoon. The reason that we arranged this webinar and the other webinars that we are focusing on your vision, on our vision, and you're also the same vision, to be the leading professional institution of project management advocacy in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, as well as our dedication to effectively keep you well cultivated and well versed in the field of project management, and ultimately to contribute to the advancement of your career. Thanks again for joining us. It's a great honor to have you all. Without further ado, my name is Hajar Al-Aisi. I'm Vice President of Membership at PMI KSA chapter, and I am really honored and pleased to host the webinar which is about business agility powered by project management disciplined Agile Toolkit, presented by Dr. Faiz Rasool. Dr. Faiz Rasool is a management consultant, enterprise coach, and trainer. He runs project management training school, who is a collaboration partner with PMI KSA chapter. Project management training schools offers capacity building solutions and certification training in PMI and SAFE domain. So Faiz has a PhD in electric engineering and has a vast experience in consultancy and training. Faiz also helps organizations to improve in what they do by working with executives, middle management, and also teams. He is expert in both PMI discipline Agile Toolkit and also Scale Agile framework as SAFE that help him to serve better his clients. Before I leave the stage to Dr. Faiz to start the webinar, kindly, in case you have any question, write them down in the QA section and we will discuss them within or at the end of the webinar. Our webinar will last about 1 hour and it will be recorded and published on our social portal and on our chapter YouTube channel. So please, Dr. Faiz, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Ajay. Thanks for the fantastic introduction, and hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on business agility, as it's powered by PMI Discipline Agile Toolkit. I believe that everybody is with me, can hear me good. We mostly conduct interactive sessions on business agility and discipline agile toolkit, etc. But this session that we are doing today is a bit short. It will be 1 hour session, and here we will try to understand disciplined agile, the toolkit by PMI. There is a lot of buzz about it. What is this toolkit and how it helps us to become agile, not only on individual or team level, but how can we expand this agility on the enterprise level? That's the topic of today. And we will be covering today's webinar with the help of 4 key topics. We will be starting with the agile, a quick overview, and then we will see that when we have a lot of different frameworks, methods already exist in the market, then why discipline agile, how it is different from other. Then we will be covering about discipline agile fundamentals and see how this toolkit, this comprehensive toolkit, it boosts the enterprise agility or business agility for a particular portfolio or maybe for the whole enterprise. And then I will quickly share that how can you become a pragmatic agilist, someone who use agile for the sake of improvement of their way of working instead of just for the purpose of using a particular method. First of all, a brief introduction by myself, though Hajar already did it, so I won't be taking a lot of time. I run PM Training School, who operates in 2 different frameworks, or you can say two different domains. One is PMI domain, the other one is scaled agile domain. Scaled agile offer a framework, a very fantastic framework that is for enterprise agility. And under that, they provide a proper implementation pathway through which you can bring enterprise agility on the scale. Okay, on the other side, PMI, you are well aware of it. In fact, you guys know much more than me. PMI is like one of the most mature organization in the domain of project management, risk management, and business analysis, and nowadays in the agile domain as well. We are with PMI since 1969, so it's almost more than 52 years. PMI exists, and they are serving the professional around the globe. So we not only work in the domain of PMI, but also SAFe. Now, Hadir asked me that let's make this session a bit interactive. For that purpose, I would give you 30 seconds only. Look on these 4 questions, and then I will be requesting few of you, only 3, okay, to introduce yourself so that we can make this session as interactive as possible. Think about when you are introducing yourself, take your name, what you do, and what will make this webinar successful for you. And maybe share one thing we don't know about you in 30 seconds. So I will be choosing your name randomly and will be requesting you to unmute yourself and introduce yourself. First of all, Adil Halmi, and I allow you to talk. Adil. Huda Al-Jaresi.
Yes, good evening. I'm Huda Al-Juraisi. I'm a businesswoman, and I have investments in the real estates and the stock market also. I am already a PMP graduate. And being in this session is something that would help me to remember whatever I studied. At the same time, what is new in the field. Thank you.
Surely, that's the purpose of it, Huda, and nice to meet you.
I did not understand your question.
No, I didn't ask a question. I just said that nice to meet you, and that's what we are going to cover. Few new things by PMI.
And the agile, I think the most important things concerning the agile information. This is what I would like to get deep informations about it.
Sure, we will be covering Agile. In fact, next 1 hour we will be talking about only Agile, or in fact, more like discipline Agile. Thanks.
Thank
you. And then Ali Albandre. Ali, would you like to introduce yourself? Amir. Amir Al. Please forgive me if I cannot pronounce your name properly because, yeah, different thing, different culture. Amir, can you introduce yourself? Okay, good. Now let's move further. Thanks for the people who introduced themselves. Let's talk about Agile. But before talking about Agile, let me quickly run two polls, very small polls, and they will help me to understand your background, and it will also help me to understand how much you know about Agile, how much you know about discipline Agile, so that we can adjust our webinar on the go. So first poll, your industry. Please feel free to answer this question. Well, thank you everyone for sharing your background. And we have a lot of people from the engineering industry, including construction, also people from software and IT, government, education, and it's awesome to see people from diverse background. Though Agile is started from software industry, but it is highly adopted across different sectors, including government, engineering, and healthcare, for example, banking sector, aerospace, defense, etc. So what we are going to talk today will be very helpful for the people from across the sectors. And then I'm going to run another poll, that is your background and your expertise in a particular project management methodology. Well, thanks for answering the question. I'm ending the poll. And if we look at the results, we have almost like 70+ people with waterfall background, that plan-driven approach that is mostly used in most of the projects nowadays across the world. And then There are people from Agile background and discipline Agile background, and it's fantastic to see people from those background. I would love to listen the people from Waterfall, Agile, discipline Agile, what are their thoughts about the points we are going to discuss today. Now, thanks everyone for participating in the polls. Let's move further and talk about project management, Agile project management, and how this whole story of Agile way of working is started. If you guys look at this figure is basically a predictive software life cycle or software development life cycle. When I say software development life cycle, basically here I'm talking about software project management. This life cycle follows Frederick Taylor approach towards doing the work. Frederick Taylor was one of the American methodologists and entrepreneurs. In the start of 20th century, he introduced a method. We call it a defined process method that believes in that the industry workers, the people who do the work, they don't know how to do the work. That's why for them, we need the managers, the smart guys who tell them that how to do the work, who define the process for them, and then those industry workers follow those processes. It is highly adopted across the sectors, manufacturing, shipping, construction industry, follow that method. And that is the basis of waterfall approach. In 1960s, when computer work started, when software projects started, they also adopted this method. That's why we have this life cycle, predictive software development life cycle. You can also call it a plan-driven approach, where what we do, we get the requirements first, and then we develop a plan. Based on that plan, we develop the architecture of our solution, our software system solution. We design different components of that architecture. We write the unit tests. We write the programming code to implement our design. And when we write our code in the construction stage, we keep on doing the quality assurance with the help of variety of tests. That's a V-shaped approach, or you can say a plan-driven approach. In this approach, we normally do big upfront planning, BUP, or big upfront design. You guys are from PMI domain. You guys are already PMP. You know that what does it mean? Big upfront planning, a lot of planning for scope, for schedule, for cost, and so many different things. And then follow that plan. Initially, software industry adopted it, but later they realized that it's not going to work in our sector because of multiple reasons. In fact, three main reasons. One, the workers, the software developers, they are not normal people. They are not ordinary industry workers. They are knowledge workers. Okay, they know their way of working. They really don't need a defined process. That's number one. Number two, with the evolution of internet, especially in 1990s, our clients, they become aware of their needs with the passage of time. Or in other words, if we do big upfront design or big upfront planning, even working closely with the client, once we start constructing our solution, our clients come with different ideas. They come with the ideas their competitors are following, because now one has become a global market. Okay, so their requirements change, but this big upfront planning and design approach really doesn't help to address those changing needs of the customers. and customers feels that their needs are not met and they are not getting the competitive advantage. Think about the softwares that used to develop in 1990s. Do you remember those softwares? What used to happen with them? A software comes, okay, few people don't use them at all. Other people, they used to use some features of them and rest of the features were like thrown away. Nobody even touches, okay? But that was of no benefit at all. A lot of effort was being wasted. And our client's need was not fulfilled. Not only this, there are many other challenges when we are doing this V-shaped model or that waterfall approach we are talking about, okay? And then there was another challenge, and that challenge is about the technology. Technology is ever changing since 1990s, okay? So for developers, choosing a particular technology for a particular solution or a particular platform while developing their software solution is not an easy task, okay? AI and machine learning is in front of you, and you can see the big data approaches, Devops, and too many other things, okay? So that traditional way was not workable. For that purpose, software thought leaders in 1990s, they start thinking about the ways through which they can deliver their clients in a better way. They should find a way of working in which they can cater the changing needs of the customer. And this approach, waterfall approach, is not helping. Instead of waterfall approach, what they decided is go for an iterative approach. And what is an iterative approach? Basically, instead of doing big upfront planning or design, you do a very high level planning, a very high level design, okay? You don't go in depth at all because you know that things are pretty uncertain and our requirements are going to change. Where to focus now? But they made the structure of their approach, their way of working in an iterative and incremental fashion. So they run the iteration of, for example, 1 or 2 weeks, where they work only small chunk of items and complete it, okay? In fact, all these phases that we are looking here, that we normally complete in 6 months, now we start completing these phases, for example, gathering requirements, improving the architecture, designing the components in that architecture, programming, testing, everything within 1 week or 2. Okay, so we run all the phases within no time. So that's called iterative and incremental approach. We also call it Agile approach. In fact, this work was started back in 1990s. However, Agile Manifesto is published in 2001 by 17 software thought leaders, and the purpose was uncovering better ways of working through which we can focus on individuals and interactions over process and tools. Remember, process and tools are important. They have their own worth. But in Agile world, individuals and interactions between them. Either these individuals are the team members or they are their stakeholders. Their interaction is more important than process and tools. Similarly, working software, or you can think of a consumable solution, is more important than comprehensive documentation. Just think about mobile phone. When you go and buy an iPhone, you take it out of pack. You normally find 2 things: iPhone and its manual. What do you do with the manual? You just throw it away, isn't it? Because you want to use the working software, you want to use the consumable solution, that is your mobile phone. So where documentation is important, especially in a regulatory world where governments are involved, where human life is at risk, where, for example, defense work is going on, documentation is important. Where regulation and compliance need to be followed, they are important, okay? But we believe in consumable solutions that are more important than just documentation, a lot of documentation. You know what happens in PMO's world, in the world of portfolio or governance. Everything is about documentation. At the end of each stage gate or phase gate, we have to prepare a lot of documents. Agile wants you to think in a different way. And then customer collaboration or contract negotiation. Instead of spending a lot of time dealing with the contracts, dealing with the legal issues, the best way is go for some agile contracts where the focus is customer collaboration and their competitive advantage. Customer and you are in the same team instead of here's your customer and here you are. And you are all the time discussing over the contract, talking about statement of work, talking about the scope given in the contract, instead of thinking about how you can help your customer, how can you delight your customer. And the last one is responding to change or following a plan so that you can meet the changing needs of your customers. This last value is the basis of iterative way of working. Many different methods were developed before and after Agile Manifesto, and one of the famous methods to implement Agile is Scrum. And I believe most of you guys know about Scrum. So that's why I'm not going in depth of it, but it is a very simplistic method. Scrum guide, if you look on Scrum guide, it is only 14 pages document that tells you how to implement Agile using Scrum method. They have their own requirements, they have their own roles, they have their own ceremonies, they have their own artifacts that help you to implement Agile. If you want to understand Scrum, you can understand with the help of three things: the roles and responsibilities on a Scrum team, the number of events that we do in a sprint or iteration, and the artifacts we produce. If you look on this figure will clearly be telling you that it is an iterative approach, where instead of doing a detailed planning, you do a high-level planning and put your requirements in a product backlog, and then start working on that product backlog, completing the tasks, doing daily coordination, and demonstrating to your stakeholders, conducting retrospective, everything being done within 2 to 4 weeks. What I believe is, in today's world, you guys know about Scrum. And I really don't want to go in depth of it, because what we really want to cover, we want to look on enterprise agility. That is not only team level, but at the whole enterprise level. Here, this method that I'm showing in front of you is very useful, very effective, though it is very prescriptive as well. For a team of, for example, 5 to 11 people, not more than that, okay? However, if you wanna take the advantages of Agile from just team level to multiple team levels, to the program level, to the portfolio level, to the whole enterprise level, then you have to think differently. You have to use different methods, okay? And we are lucky that we already have those methods. One of them is PMI's Discipline Agile. And the other one is SAFE, Scaled Agile Framework for Enterprises. I'm not going in depth of SAFE, but it is shown in front of you. And this framework, a loosely bounded framework, helps you to expand your agile practices from one team to multiple teams to basically to the program level, to the portfolio level, and later to the enterprise agility. I will talk with Hajir, and we can have a separate seminar on SAFE where we will be talking about, okay, what is SAFE? What are SAFE core values? What is its mindset? What are its core competencies? How this big picture help us to scale the agile from team level to the higher levels. So once we will have that thing set, obviously we can run a separate seminar. So that's why I'm just moving further towards discipline agile. But before that, I have a small GR question. You just need to write in the chat answer of this question. So the question is, Agile Manifesto, is it applicable to all type of projects and products? जी or नहीं? Yeah, you can write in the chat. Yeah. So there is a mixed opinion coming up. Agile Manifesto is applicable to all type of projects and products. Oh, it's fantastic. There is a lot of diversity in the answers. It's almost 50-50. Loved it. But I can clearly see that trend is going towards G instead of me. But my answer is no. Agile, a very fantastic approach, but it's not compulsory that we can fit Agile everywhere. And we should not fit Agile for the sake of Agile. Everyone is doing Agile, we should be doing Agile. Not really. Depends on the context of your organization, context of your project, or the solution you are developing. For example, when you are doing a multi-story building project, you are making a building, okay, maybe 3-story building, or maybe 30-story building. In that case, maybe Agile is not useful. In fact, the Agile way of working, our Agile Manifesto, it started from software industry, and once it started, we have seen clear benefits because software industry grew very fast, and you can see that who are the top firms in the world, top $1 trillion companies in the world. No doubt, where there is Aramco, but Aramco is the only one in that top list. What about rest? Rest, all of them are from the tech sector. Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, etc. Okay, so we have seen the benefits of Agile way of working, and we have seen the benefits of all those methods we are talking about, Scrum, SAFe, etc. It really helps us to improve our way of working. And that's why Agile has moved fast from software industry to across different sectors. Either it's electronic products, either it's HR, marketing, finance. We have seen the benefits of Agile across. In fact, nowadays organizations, they want their all the departments, they want their all the portfolios to become lean and agile. We normally call it bringing business agility in our enterprises. But nevertheless, the Agile Manifesto is not applicable to all the projects. And then there comes another question. It is a tough one. The reason is I didn't discuss this thing in depth, but I really wanna hear your answers. Scrum method, the first method. Okay, do you remember? Is it prescriptive? Does it tell you what to do, or does it allow you to choose your own way of working? Yes or no? Answer in the chat box. Yeah, thanks a lot, and I'm showing you the answer. And the answer is yes. Scrum method are very good, but a very simple method. It helps you to implement Agile. Okay. However, the creators of Scrum, what they did is they made it very prescriptive. One of the key principles of Agile mindset is the teams should be choosing their own way of working. But on the other side, Scrum guys, instead of allowing the teams to choose their own way of working, they give them a way of working. They come back to that old style of defined processes that was part of waterfall, that was basically from Frederick Taylor, defined processes. But Agile world is not about defined processes. It is more about empirical processes where team choose their own way of working, team experiment, learn from the experiment and improve. So Scrum is iterative, is incremental, very good to start with, but still in its nature, it is prescriptive. It wants you to follow their ceremonies, it wants you to follow their roles, it wants you to follow their artifacts. Now, at this point in time, I would ask Hajir just to look on the chat. Are there some questions people want to ask?
Still, there is no question, but they are interactive with your question now.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, let's move further and talk about discipline Agile. Agile Manifesto in 2001, before it and after it, we had seen a lot of different Agile methods that help you to implement Agile. Remember, Agile is a mindset. It is not a method, okay? So, right way of Agile adoption is firstly, be Agile, accept the mindset, understand the Agile core value, understand the Agile core principles that I didn't share here, and then choose one method or another, okay? But nevertheless, before and after Agile Manifesto, there were many methods that were published. The purpose was simple, to work in iterative fashion to meet the changing needs of the customer. For example, DSDM, okay, or Scrum or XP or Spotify ways of working or SAFe or Discipline Agile. Then question comes, when we have already many different methods exist, then why Discipline Agile? Why PMI's Discipline Agile Toolkit and how it is different? Let's try to make the case for Discipline Agile and see that how Discipline Agile really help us to improve, okay? Agile Manifesto, I told you, published around 2 decades ago, okay? The purpose was to give autonomy to the teams. The purpose was give empowerment to the teams so that teams can choose their own way of working, and we should not have any need of managers, especially, for example, project managers. I understand most of you guys are project managers, but when we talk about Agile, okay, Agile fits very well with the products, with the solution, instead of projects, which are like more of temporary nature than like ongoing endeavors. But what happened is, once Manifesto is published, people start developing their methods for the Agile. I already named quite a few, okay? And then what they did is, instead of talking about Agile, talking about the team's autonomy, team's choice of choosing their own way of working, they start selling their methods. They start imposing their methods to the enterprises, okay? It resulted in, we call it Agile Industrial Complex, okay? That is basically a combination of many different alliances, many different networks, many different consultants, and what they do, they go and reach to the organization without understanding their needs in depth. They show their framework, their method as a solution of enterprises' today's problems. Okay. So Martin Fowler, one of the software thought leader who published Agile Manifesto, he coined this term, Agile Industrial Complex, and he said that in 2020, in second decade of 21st century, if we really want Agile growing, we must challenge Agile Industrial Complex. Or in other words, we should be looking on our context, our own organization dynamics. Based on that, we should be choosing different Agile practices or methods instead of some external consultants coming us and imposing a method to us. Another challenge that we have faced is most of the Agile methods, they talk about the structure, the framework of their method, as I was talking about Scrum roles or Scrum events or Scrum ceremonies. What happened when we implemented these methods, our knowledge workers, our software developers, they found out instead of helping or making our life easy, we have to do more things. We have to do, for example, daily Scrum. We have to do this daily coordination meeting. Either we need it or not. And we must be doing it for 15 minutes. Okay, that's daily Scrum. Okay. So instead of focusing on helping the knowledge worker, the team in the technical practices, making their life easy and improving their technical excellence, these methods focused more on the structure of the meetings, structure of the roles, structure of the artifacts, etc. So soon, knowledge workers, developers, testers, business analysts, they start realizing that it's not worth to do Scrum or Agile because they are not helping but putting extra pressure on us. Okay. And then another issue was project teams. I understand, especially in Asian countries where we don't have a culture of R&D, where we don't develop the products or solutions for the global world, for the wide world. Our economy is driven by the projects, okay? And what are projects? Once a project starts, we bring the team together to do that project. Once project is finished, our team is dispersed. And we always lose some good friends, the people with whom our mindset is settled. We are well synced and our harmony is fantastic. They go to another project, we go to another project, we just talk over the phone for some time and then we just move on in our lives. But Agile believes in long-standing stable teams. Instead of gathering the people around the project, Agile believe in having stable teams and bring the work to the teams. Okay, instead of having project teams, we should have solution teams. We should have product teams. So these are the current challenges we are facing in the Agile world. And in fact, discipline Agile really help us to overcome these challenges with the help of its mindset and its some core practices. I'm not going in depth all of them, but just three. And the first one is it believes in context. It says that organizations, not only organization, each individual is unique. Each team is unique because it consists of unique individuals who interact with each other in a unique way. Similarly, when these unique teams interact with other unique teams, this interaction result in a complex adaptive system. And each organization, even in the same sector, for example, one bank is different from another bank. One telecommunication company dynamics are different from another telecommunication company. So it means that when we are going to choose our way of working, we must think about the uniqueness, the context, and the dynamics of that team or that organization. Another very good practice that Discipline Agile promotes is continuous improvement. Instead of following a particular framework or a particular plan, it says that how to improve continuously. Most of you guys know about continuous improvement. You might know about Kaizen cycle, okay? But Discipline Agile takes continuous improvement to the next level called GCI, Guided Continuous Improvement. And then Discipline Agile believes in organizing your teams around the value streams. Value streams are, you can think of a thread in your organization that shows the pathway of the value. Okay, now, how customer is served in your organization. It's a new concept, value stream. You can read much more about value stream on Discipline Agile website or Scaled Agile website. I'm not going in depth of value stream. And the outcome of those value streams are product and success. So instead of having project teams, we believe in product and service teams. I'm not going in depth of all the points, but just quickly looking at GCI, Guided Continuous Improvement. We know about Demings. Everyone knows about Demings, the father of lean, a top American methodologist who shifted to Japan, worked with the Toyota production systems, improved their way of working. As a result, Toyota has become the leading company in the whole wide world within no time. And he introduced this Kaizen loop of continuous improvement shown in front of you. Plan, do, study, act, or plan, do, check, act, as you want to call it, your choice. Where whenever a problem comes, we identify that problem very well. Okay. Once we identified it and defined that problem very well, next step is identify potential solution, more than one solutions. Okay. We call it set-based design. Okay. Instead of choosing just one cycle, one solution, choose multiple solutions, a set of solutions, and it will really help you to find right solution out of those set of solutions. Try them and prioritize the best solution, implement it, see its effectiveness. If it works, fantastic, you are successful. If it doesn't work, abandon it. Okay, failing fast. That's called failing fast. It's okay. We tried something. Okay, it didn't work. We are abandoning it. We will try something else. That is called empirical process. We do the experiment, learn from experiment, and we improve it. Okay. In any case, either we succeed or fail, we always have learnings, a lot of learnings that we should be sharing with other people in the team or in the organization or with the other teams. We should have that culture of collaboration, where sharing is caring. Sharing is the best way. And in fact, if you think about the top enterprises, they always have community of practices, they have center of excellence. What's the purpose of it? Sharing your learning with others so that others should not be making the same mistake. This is PDSA or PDCA, whatever you call it, Kaizen law, okay? It's fantastic in bringing small and continuous changes. But there are two issues. One, where you have 50% chances of success, you always have 50% chances of failure as well. Okay? Where learning from your mistakes is fantastic. Not a single sponsor exists in the world who pay you to experiment and fail. What they want you to succeed more often than failing fast. That's one issue. The other issue is this whole cycle is, you can think of, comparatively slow. Okay, continuous improvement cycle or Kaizen cycle, it really doesn't speed up your process of improvement. And discipline agile believes in you can reach to your quantum leap or speed up your learning or your successes if you are guided in your journey of continuous improvement. Or in other words, when you are identifying and trying a solution, if a guidance is provided to you, this guidance could be from a coach, this could be from a toolkit, for example, DA toolkit, it will increase your chances to succeed more often than failing fast. Or in other words, if you look on this cycle, this diagram, the top one is showing that you do experiment, few experiments successful, other fail. And then chances are your failed experiments are quite a lot on your journey in a product, in a project. But if this journey is guided, okay, and you are given the good suggestions, good agile practices and methods to do tasks, then in that case, the chances are that your failure rate will be, your failure frequency will be much lesser and your success will be more often. Okay, that's what is called GCI, Guided Continuous Improvement. And this is one of the core practice of discipline agile. A research work was conducted a few years back by a PhD student, and it was understanding how much Agile helped organizations, and what that research found that the people who don't shift from waterfall to Agile, they don't improve at all. They just keep on doing their standard things. Their projects are being completed. Sometimes they fail, sometimes they are behind schedule, or they are not on budget, but sometimes they are improving. But nevertheless, they remain same. If someone adopted a framework, for example, Scrum, okay, or SAFe, they improve. But after some time, because that framework and method itself is prescriptive, okay, their improvement stops. However, if they use PDCA cycle, they also continuously improve their way of working. But again, to reach to the quantum leap, the best thing is follow this process of GCI. And this is basically Discipline Agile Toolkit. This is the guidance that Discipline Agile provides you. It doesn't say that, okay, you should forget about everything previous and start with the DA toolkit. No. What Discipline Agile says that either you are using waterfall or a hybrid approach or a Scrum or XP or Kanban or SAFe, whatever you are using, we don't want you to stop there, but you can always use Discipline Agile Toolkit to improve your way of working in a guided, continuous fashion.
Excuse me, Faiz, Dr. Faiz. Yes, 5 minutes left to finish the webinar. If you don't have mind, we can add, and also if the attendees don't have problem to add 15 minutes or 20 minutes. The topic is so large and so important.
It is,
so,
it is. Yeah, so that's why I feel this challenge, how to conclude the whole thing in 1 hour. But yeah, thanks, Hajar. If everyone is happy, I can continue. And if you guys want to move on, just feel free. Okay, never.
If you permit, we have questions about the famous question about should we be agile to do agile? So yeah. many ask.
We must. Mindset, core values, lean agile mindset. Okay, not only agile, lean agile mindset, core values and principles are more important than a particular practice or method. Reason? Methods, they keep on changing. Practices, they keep on improving. But mindset, they stay longer. Okay? So, either it's discipline agile or SAFe or any other method, they are based on values. They are based on mindset and principle. Practices are much later. Okay? So, we must not worry about practices. We should think about the mindset, because it is applicable in many different scenarios as compared to practices. Okay, now I will also speed up, Hajar. Here I am defining DA toolkit. It is not a method, not a framework, but it is a toolkit that is agnostic and hybrid. When I say hybrid, it takes the good practices from all different approaches, Devops, extreme programming, Scrum, SAFe, etc. And also it is agnostic. It doesn't say use Scrum or Kanban or Spotify or extreme programming. Choose the method you like, choose the method that fits to your context. It is started back in 2009 at IBM by Scott Emler and Mark Line for the team level. Later they expanded to the Devops level, in the whole IT operations level, development and operation both. And later they took it to the next level. Nowadays we call this level as a value stream level. It is where we talk about program management, product management, portfolio management. And then in 2017, they took the DA toolkit to the enterprise level. How to bring the agility in all different departments, in all different portfolios in an enterprise. For example, HR, marketing, finance, enterprise architecture, multiple portfolios, etc., etc. 2019, PMI purchased Discipline Agile, and later PMI integrated another method called Flex with Discipline Agile to make this version 3 into today's version. We call it DA value stream. Okay. Here it's a GRNA time, a quick GRNA. Just write in your chat. DA GCI. You remember guided continuous improvement helps to achieve the quantum leap in continuous improvement effort. GRNA. 30 seconds in the chat room. Does GCI help you to reach to the quantum leap in continuous improvement? Does it speed up your improvement? Fantastic. Author Amar. Answers are coming up. Quick, we have 20 more seconds. Good. We got 5 seconds now. Fantastic. So yeah, it is there. It really helps us to speed up our continuous improvement effort. And then there comes another question. DA Toolkit include all the agile practices and strategies? Yeah or nay? DA Toolkit. Mix, yeah or nay? There is a mix answer to this question. We got 10 seconds now. DA Toolkit at the moment got more than 1,700 different agile practices and strategies, and still it's growing. But we cannot say that it includes all the agile practices in the whole wide world. No one can include in one toolkit or at one space. So the answer is nay, but DA Toolkit is no doubt very comprehensive. Now, in next 15 minutes, I will try to give you the fundamentals of discipline agile. And now, if you really want to understand discipline agile, you should understand DA architecture. DA architecture consists of 4 layers shown in blue, and then supported by 4 things. We call it 4 views: mindset, people, flow, practices. The layers are foundation, Devops, value stream, and enterprise, and all of these layers are supported by the discipline agile mindset, discipline agile roles and responsibilities, the workflows, we also call them the life cycles, and the practices, agile practices. Okay, so this is DA architecture. Now let's talk about these supporting mindset of the people, flow, and practices. 4 views to understand discipline agile. One is people, basically roles and responsibilities. If you are development teams, what DA recommends you? If you are IT operations teams, what DA recommends you? If you are from security, what DA recommends you for portfolio, for program, for product, for marketing, for HR, for everything. Okay, different roles and responsibilities. And also DA provides you a variety of choices because they believe in choice is good. Variety of choices of life cycles, okay, and workflows. And then there comes the practices, the agile practices, more than 1,700 practices that are represented in DA Toolkit with the help of goal diagrams. In fact, I call these practices as the data bricks of DA Toolkit that form the DA Toolkit. DA mindset. Let's have a look on DA mindset. I told you mindset is much more important than the workflow, the practices, etc. DA mindset is explained with the help of 8 principles, 7 processes, and 8 guidelines. Okay. As we are short in time, I will not go in depth of the mindset, but just will be covering just one principle called enterprise awareness. You know, guys, when a new company starts, people work together in a collaborative fashion. They make an innovation network where focus is to develop a product, okay, that can help the customers. Once companies start growing, that innovation network start converting into a structure. Think about all the companies currently existing in Saudi Arabia or any other country where you belong. What they have? They have structure instead of innovation network. They have departments into it. And all these departments are separate from each other, working in the silos. Okay, they really don't know what's happening, and that's why we are not producing value on the same speed a startup or a bunch of entrepreneurs they produce. That's why all those enterprises, they are forced to buy the new startups. You know how much Facebook have to spend on Instagram or Facebook have to spend on the WhatsApp to buy them, because they were forced to buy it. Those startup companies, they forced Facebook to pay them billions of dollars. The reason? Because they work in a network instead of a stable structure of departments where everything is isolated and things are very bureaucratic and it takes ages to get the outcome. Agile breaks it down. What Agile does, they breaks these silos and make cross-functional teams that will be that focus on solutions, that focus on producing the value. But we also don't want these new teams that are resulted as a result of Agile way of working become silos itself. We don't want them to become like team focused. We want them to be enterprise focused. They should align their objectives, their team objectives with the enterprise objective. They should know what's happening in the portfolio level, how to work with the portfolio, how to work with the architecture, our product management team, or the marketing teams. So working more like an enterprise aware manner. That's what my DA believes in. A lot to discuss, but shortage of time. Let's move further. Let's discuss one of the promise, and I chose psychological safety. Key for innovation, key for diversity. Okay, until we will not have psychological safety, we will not have a culture of diversity, we will not have a culture of inclusion, and as a result, we will not have any innovation, we will not have any growth at all. And when we talk about psychological safety, it is basically a 4-stage process. This process is shown in this picture. The psychological safety requires permissions, it requires respect. If there is no permission, no respect, this psychological safety goes into the gutter of paternalism, gutter of exploitation. Okay, but if permission and respect is there, you go to different stages of psychological safety. And the first stage is inclusion safety, that talks about include the people in your team, in your organization without any racism. This racism could be because of gender, because of education, because of geographical area, because of your skin color, because of your language. If you will not include the people from diverse background, you cannot reach to the next level. And then second is learner safety. This is second stage. When people are included in your organization, give them permission to learn, to experiment, to improve. And then third stage is contributor safety, where they can contribute their learnings for the betterment of the team, for the betterment of the organization. And then last stage and the highest stage is challenger safety. This is a stage where innovation starts. When you allow your people to question current way of working, to challenge current structures, to challenge the status quo, this is where challenger safety comes. Okay. Now let's move further and talk about guidelines. 8 different guidelines that help you to improve your way of working. I'm quickly discussing one guideline, that is applied design thinking. Design thinking is when you are developing a solution, don't think from your mind, think about from your customer mind. Be empathetic, put yourself in the shoes of your customers. It is basically a mindset approach, design thinking. It helps you in continuous exploration. And there are 6 steps in design thinking. I'm not going in depth, but first 2 steps focus on understanding your customer needs. And then next 2 stages talk about your continuous exploration, new ideas, and developing the prototypes. And the last 2 are where you show those prototypes to your customers. And once a prototype is confirmed, your MVP, minimum viable product, is developed. Your prototype is developed, proof of concept is done, then you implement it instead of start implementing straight away. Okay, very fantastic. This is also core approach in agile and lean thinking, called design thinking. Normally, product managers, solution managers, product owners, they use this approach to explore the needs of the customers. This is called continuous exploration. And then there comes GRA time.
Excuse me, Faiz, can you go to the other slides in high level discovery?
So,
because we have to answer some questions.
Surely.
Especially the famous question also about the topic of the webinar, how discipline agile can affect the agility of the enterprise.
I agree. So basically, this landscape will be showing you how DA helps you to bring the enterprise agility. Bring the agility not only on the team level, okay, but at the whole enterprise level. Scrum is normally for the delivery teams. This level, okay. But if only development teams are agile, you can think of, you got a Formula race car, but in the traffic of Riyadh, in the traffic of New York or Auckland, or maybe in the traffic of Karachi, what's the benefit of that high-speed car if it is stuck in a traffic? Okay, so if you make your teams agile, it is not very helpful. You must bring your enterprise to the level we call them agile or lean and agile enterprises. And DA Toolkit provides you that guidance, that support. With the help of 4 layers. The bottom one is foundation, we already talked about. The second one is DevOps layer. They call it discipline DevOps. And delivery teams, your product teams or development teams are just one part of it. You can think of this process area is associated with the development teams, the teams who develop solutions for you. But if you really want to take it to the next level, where you use the DevOps mindset, where not only your development teams, but all other teams in the domain of, for example, IT operations, IT support, IT security, physical security, data, business operations, you must adopt DevOps mindset. DevOps mindset is next level that basically removes the silos between the development work and the operation work. Think about your projects. When you complete project, you put it into the operations and you totally forget about it. But DevOps doesn't talk about it. DevOps talk about different mindset, different approach that basically break the walls between development and operation. They want to work them together in such a way that there is a motto of there is a mantra of DevOps that says, you develop it, you run it, you support it. Or in other words, we should be working in collaboration. We should be working in such a way that there shouldn't be any challenges between development and operations. It really helps in improving our product. It helps in continuous improvement. That consists of three components: continuous exploration, continuous deployment, and continuous integration. You might, especially the people from software background, you might heard about CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous deployment. Okay, that's DevOps. And then on the third layer, Discipline Toolkit takes the agility to the portfolio, product, and program level. Okay, how to make your portfolio agile or lean portfolios, where the funding, instead of funding given to the projects, funding is given towards the value streams, funding are given towards the products. Okay, and then product management practices using, for example, design thinking, or program management practices using, for example, Scrum of Scrums, or using multiple agile teams working in, for example, in an agile release train manner. Okay, and then also this layer of value stream have some common process areas with the next layer, that is discipline agile enterprise. For example, R&D, business operations, strategy, governance, marketing, continuous improvement, and sales. Why they are common? Because value stream layer, okay, now there could be one value stream, there could be multiple value streams within an organization, and there will be many different functionalities or areas from R&D till sales, which contribute to the value stream. Either they are operational value stream or development value stream. I know for many of you, value stream is a different concept, so I'm not touching too much, but think of this is something that passes through the whole organization across all the different departments. Okay.
Maybe Faiz, you are answering the question about how DevOps can bridge the gap between project and operation, the classic gap.
Yes.
Existed in.
Exactly.
So we don't talk about project management, maybe product management, more program management. So there is no separation between project and operation, isn't it?
Yeah, you can think of, they work closely. They work in a collaborative fashion. And especially when we have long-standing stable teams, then this makes more sense. And then discipline agile enterprise layer. This layer and the guidance from DA Toolkit help the whole organization to become agile, including, for example, enterprise architecture, either it's a business architecture or technology architecture, HR, or you can call it people management, a better word for HR. Enterprise level IT, asset management, transformation efforts, either they are digital transformation, organizational change, or anything, finance and legal, your suppliers, vendor management, etc. Okay, how to bring agility across different departments, because all these people are involved in producing value for your organization from different aspects. So this landscape is the thing that helps you to bring enterprise agility. As we are short of time, my plan was to discuss one of the process areas, that is discipline agile delivery, but I'm stopping here and basically happy to answer your questions.
Yes. So maybe someone asked about the difference between the Ssm and Dsm as certificate.
Okay, if you don't have background in Agile, you can start with the Scrum Master. But if you have like around 1 year of experience, then you can go for Senior Scrum Master. 2 different certifications.
Maybe another question about the discipline Agile mindset. What added to Agile mindset?
What's new?
What's new in discipline Agile other than the Agile mindset?
Well, discipline Agile is derived from Agile mindset, okay, but many different new things. Because like that Agile Manifesto was published 2 decades ago, it used to talk about only working software, but Agile is now applicable across the industries. So working software is not a right way of thinking. Consumable solution is the right way of thinking, okay? Similarly, guided continuous improvement, choice is good, context count, and many other practices that discipline Agile introduced.
Yes, I have a question from Othal Ammar. In modern management, reach to the highest level of overlapping between project management and lean and other phenomena. I mean, it all should be deployed to have it work and to make the set drive correct. Maybe it is a command, not a question. Thank you. We should conclude the phase. Maybe we will organize another webinar to finish more deeply the discipline Agile. Thank you, dear attendees, and special thanks to you, Dr. Faiz, for such rich webinar. And if you don't have any more questions and or any comments, your last word, please, to conclude, Faiz.
I would say thanks a lot for staying with me that late at night in KSA, though it's early morning here, so pretty easy for me, but thank you very much, and feel free to connect with me over LinkedIn, and you can ask Hajar about my LinkedIn link, okay? In case if you have any question about business agility, how to implement lean or Agile on the organization or team level, any question, just feel free to reach to me, and I'm always available on LinkedIn, and this is what Hajar knows too.
Okay, so please follow us on our social portal, on the website of PMI KSA chapter, LinkedIn, Twitter, and be member in PMI KSA chapter to have more benefit and more involvement. So thank you again and goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.